provide. Assalamu alaikum. We are Ahmed and Sabreen, and together we make Ahmed and Sabreen. So Sabreen is managing the design and marketing. I'm managing the development at Vitek Solutions and Spring Ring. Today we represent both Spring Ring and Vitek, and also it's sponsored and supported by GDG Manama. I have to mention it. So Sabreen, what is a landing page?
Okay, so starting off, a landing page is any web page that a potential customer lands on in a sense of if they expressed an interest in either your product or your services. So we're going to go through what it is, why you should use it, when to use it, and then also how to measure and what the most you can get out of a landing page. So the main reason for using a landing page is conversion. It's always trying to get a potential customer to either do or create an action on either your website or mobile app. So conversion is the most important part of a landing page, either getting their information or downloading an app or buying a specific product. Now, when to use a landing page, it's basically every time you want to convert a customer. And I really do mean every time you want to create that conversion. So you can use it when it comes, when you're actually running an ad campaign. If you have an event happening or a webinar, you can create a custom landing page for that as well. If you want to enroll people to an email newsletter or just a marketing newsletter, you can create a specific landing page for every single task or aim, depending on your marketing strategy. Now, there are two main types when it comes to landing pages. You have a click-through landing page and a lead generation landing page. We'll show you some examples of these, but a click-through landing page mainly has a lot more information than a lead gen. It will show you details about the product or other products or services if you offer any, and then also lead you to other pages that might be of any interest. So a click-through landing page is usually much longer, more detailed, with a lot more information, and you have several call to action, several clicks, where it leads you to a different part of the website where you actually conduct or create the conversion. It also has no form. So the difference, or I think the biggest difference, is a lead gen landing page comes up straight away with a form where you get to capture the customer's data, whether it's an email, a name, a phone number, depending on what you want to get from the customer or what you want them to do. So if an email is more important than a name, then you get to keep your form very short. But if, for example, they're registering for a free trial, then you'd need more information about where they're coming from, more information to get regarding their business. So it usually has one call to action button, and the user remains on the same page and is not led through the entire website. So this is an example of our Spring Ring website and an example of the click-through landing page. We have several call to action buttons. As you can see here, if they want to try for free, they can enter just their emails and it will take them to a different page, and that's where we get all the information and more detailed information. They can also decide to just book a demo or see all the features. Before actually getting them to convert, we are taking them onto this user journey and user experience as to what they would get out of our services before completing and before getting to the landing page. So when it comes to lead generation, this is the form that we ask any potential customer to fill out. For Spring specifically, we deal with school communication. So it's very important for us to know the school name, who is it? Is it an admin or a teacher that's contacting us? Where are they coming from as well? Since we're not only in Bahrain, we're kind of expanding throughout the GCC. So this is specific for Spring and Spring services. Now, other businesses might not need as much information, but this is all custom. So it's what do you want your customer to fill out? Now, it's also important to consider that the longer the form, the more chances of a customer kind of falling off and just exiting. If it's something as simple as a newsletter, an email is just fine. You do not actually need to know their full name, their address, an email is more than enough.
Yeah. So this means these people are interested in my product, for example, in this case, and we want to get in touch with them. So what are the details that we need so we can contact them and go through the steps with them, for example?
Yes, basically, right? It's also about if a customer is actually interested, they will actually fill out the form. So you kind of get to filter who's serious from who's not. If our form is shorter than this, if we're asking just for a work email, then we wouldn't even know if they actually belong to a school, if this is a potential customer or not. They'll usually just drop off. And we'll just get a lot of contacts that we might not need. Therefore, we made our lead gen form more specific towards the clients that we want to attract and people that are serious about our services. So it's just a simpler way to filter out any, for example, student coming in and entering an email for the sake of it. So that's the lead gen.
And you said if there is the form is too long, people will just leave it and won't fill out the form because it's too long.
Yes.
And that's basically the bounce rate that we will talk about later.
Yes. Basically, people bouncing off your website, and why? Sometimes it is because of how you set up the form. If it's too long and it's just, or you have multiple questions that they have to answer, customers might not want to go through the entire process unless they are serious about it. So if it's something small, keep your lead gen forms short. If it's something more specific and you do want to filter out and you're looking for serious customers and serious clients, then you can make your lead gen form more detailed towards your business's needs. Now, I also take care of design in general when it comes to Vitech and Spring. So what to consider when designing a landing page? I do emphasize on how your landing page looks is so important, since the attention span of any customer is around 3 seconds. When they land on a website, it takes them 3 seconds before deciding that they want to opt out or bounce, or that they do not want to see anything more. So where they land is important. How it looks is also important, and how the user interacts with it as well. So when it comes to headlines and subheadings, I recommend basically creating a hierarchy as to what is important, what do you want the reader to read first. So when it comes to headlines, having them be big and bold, and then subheadings kind of becoming more of the subtitle. It's psychology and it's psychological. When a person reads something, they'll go for the biggest one first and then follow down according to size. It's also important to think of the button. Now, it's not just what is written inside, it's also the color and where it's located on the page. If a user has to scroll 3 times, it does sound silly, but the length of the landing page also matters. If they have to scroll 3 times, they might consider that a lot of work for them to do. So to have it in a place where it's easily accessible is very important. And also, when it comes to the color of it, if it blends in with the website's background, if it is just I don't want to say that it's a negative color, but like for example, using red is more of calling of an alert to it, so people are more likely to click on it. It's just small psychological factors as to how to get people to click on that button. Also, when it comes to the text inside it, I prefer if it was a personal call to action, nothing completely vague or a question that they would not understand. So you can word it in a sense of, yes, please sign me up. It gives off a positive attitude. So that is very important for the reader whenever entering a landing page, to feel that things are personalized and that they are taken care of. So it's just small differences. Instead of join newsletter, wording it differently can make a difference as to how a customer can actually go through the landing page and actually enter their information.
So if the website is just informative and it has a lot of information and doesn't have a call to action, is it attractive? Is it good enough for the customer just to navigate?
It depends on what you created your website for.
Okay.
So a landing page is actually different than a home page. It's not for the sake of information. It's you driving the customer to take an action. Okay. So the entire landing page needs to be designed in a way of you're giving the customer the exact amount of information that they need to perform an action. Your whole purpose is to get the customers to do something, either enter their emails, enter their name, sign up, or buy. So that's the difference when it comes to a landing page versus a home page. We've also talked about the form length and questions. The longer it is, the more likely for customers to fall off, simply because it's too long and nobody wants to take the time to answer 45 questions to buy a single product. So the shorter the form, definitely it'll be more attention grabbing. If you have some of these connect to social media type thing where all of your name and email is already filled in, if it's pre-populated, then that makes it much easier than that.
So one of the approaches that we went with is basically having a short form that you just ask for the things that you require. Mm-hmm. Then whenever you need more things, you just contact them later. Yes. Or have them in an optional form. Yes. After.
Exactly. So it's kind of like a very measured, designed sort of trap, but in a nice way. You basically ask the questions that you need for you to follow up with them. So if you actually want to have a long series of questions that you want to ask the customer, your landing page should just have an email or a number, and then you can harass them after that. So it's also important to consider layout and color. This comes, I'm talking in general, when creating any website, when creating any landing page, layout and color is very important. Where you place things, and Ahmed knows this because I give him a lot of headache about how he's laid out things. It's always about creating this hierarchy, what you want them to read first, and as they scroll down throughout the page, what they should do. It's always about how the user experiences or what they see and how they interact with your landing page. It's also good in general, but you don't have to include any awards or badges that your service or product has. That way, you're kind of showing that you're showing the customer that they are in good hands and you know what you're talking about and you've been through it, and it gives them that sense of security. Testimonials are also, again, not a must, but it's good to have when you give a face to your product or to your service. If customers read that other customers are happy, it's automatically a buy or a sell, or you get that action.
And don't fake the testimonials.
Do not fake the testimonials, because Google is very, very extremely creepy and strong. They can Facebook and Google anyone these days. So do not use stock images. Do not create a name from scratch. They will find out if that testimonial is true or not.
Regarding the layout and color, as developers, we don't care about that. Everyone knows.
Yes.
So we have a lot of arguments,
yes,
between the two teams.
That's true.
But when you understand that the user experience is very important, you care about that. So to me, functionality is important, but design is as important as the functionality.
Exactly.
Because if I don't give the customer or the user a good user experience, the bounce rate will be higher. The number of people interested will be less.
Yes.
So I will lose potential clients and potential users.
Definitely. Also, if the design of your website kind of looks spammy or something out of 2005, it kind of loses all the credibility.
Yeah.
I mean, people shop and people search eyes first. So when it looks good, it automatically feels, or it makes the customer feel like, oh, they know what they're talking about, or this product looks more expensive than that. And it's as simple as changing it from a blue background to a white background. It's a very small change, and it will affect what type of customers you are getting, why they are landing on your website, and why did they actually go through and enter all of their information. So what happens next? Now you've got a customer, they've entered all of their information, and you basically captured this new lead. Now, it is after that a process of, and do take this lightly and in a very, very nice and respectable manner, it is all about harassment. Once you get the contact information, they are automatically a lead where you get to send as many marketing emails as you want. You can follow up with them basically until you get a definitive, no, I do not want to buy your product, and no, I do not need your service, or harass them for 3 years until you actually get to convert them. So that is very important. That is very important. Once you get a customer's information, then, well, one, that they have entered themselves, you do not go stealing other people's emails. But if they opt in and if they decide to enter their information, then you can go ahead and email and market to them. So once, basically after your lead gen 4, what you can do is ask them to follow you on social media. That way you get to engage them. I do have a session tomorrow about customer engagement, so we can cover that then as well. You can also, if it is a product, automatically give them a discount code. You'll notice this basically whenever you shop online. After you complete your purchase, maybe 1 week down the line, you automatically get a discount code and you never know why. But that's actually just a tactic to get you to buy more or come back or just take a look at their website again. That's kind of how they hook you in. The more discount codes you receive in your email, the more guaranteed that you're going to come back. You can also ask them to subscribe if you want to, if you have like a webinar series, or if you have a couple of newsletters, or even a YouTube channel. Once basically they've completed a lead gen form or they completed an ask on your website, you can ask them to subscribe.
It's always about getting, so you mentioned opting in. It's
Yes.
all about the customer and the user consent to join
Yes.
the mailing list
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
And you need to make sure that you give them a way out. So
Always.
they can unsubscribe,
Yes.
they can unfollow, they can do whatever.
Yes. It is actually any platform that you use for your mailing services. You need to, and it's a must, to give any customer the option to unsubscribe. They will not allow you to send any marketing email without that unsubscribe link at the bottom. They will actually block it and take down your marketing campaign. So once a user gives their consent to be sent these emails, then you can harass them. But once they unsubscribe, you have to stop. You no longer have that relationship of sending marketing emails. You cannot resubscribe them just because you still have their contacts. And now when it comes to measuring performance, you have your landing page, you have now you've gotten a bunch of customers, but any marketing in general and any marketing effort does not make sense unless you measure your performance and how well your landing page has acted, especially if you've had this paid ad campaign going, you've linked it to a very nice landing page, it's doing well, but you wouldn't know that unless you start measuring. Now, our preferred measuring tool is always Google Analytics, because Google is really good at basically finding out which phone you were on or which laptop, where from, how long did you actually stay on that website, how long it actually took you to fill in the form, where you even clicked on. So when it comes to measuring the performance of a landing page, based on your marketing KPIs, you get to define what you are looking for and what to monitor. What's important is the bounce rate, which is what we talked about earlier. The bounce rate is how long a person stays onto your website before falling off, or actually how many people came on and how many people dropped off. So the more bounces you get, or the higher the bounce rate is, it means that your website is doing poorly because people just came on it for half a second and then left, which means they didn't even get to go through all of the information. They did not even get to experience your website. Stuff such as loading speed, for example.
Page speed is very important.
Page speed, when you get on there and only the header shows up and then you get stuck there for a good 5 seconds, that's also an issue. These little factors cause the people to bounce off. Session time that's one of Google's creepy features. How long you spent looking at what. As per your website, basically, once you actually have Google Analytics integrated, it can show you how long each user has spent on which page. That way, for example, you can tell if a person has been looking at one product more than the other, or actually more people are interested in one service more than the other. That way, you can market or retarget them again. So anyone who comes in looking at the website, you know that this specific page is a lot of people are spending 5 minutes on. So it'll be good to give them either a discount then, or invite them to a webinar, or give them something in return because they're spending that much time on that specific web page. Another important feature is the lead to customer conversion rate. It basically means how many leads you've got and how many became actual customers. Now, this is important because, as we said, if your lead gen form is short and it's only asking for an email, you can get over 100 emails a day, but then get no customers out of them, even after following up and harassing them. So how many are actually converting is important for your business, because you know, even if you've laid it out perfectly, even though your call to action looks great and people are actually clicking on it, but then they're not buying, then that's the difference between when it is a lead and when it's a customer. So Ahmed's gonna go for a quick demo.
Yeah. So let's go to this. Okay, so we talked about lead generation, and this is one of the examples of capturing details, the details of the customer, the phone, the location. So there is activecampaign.com. There is Mailjet. So these are this is one of the websites that you can sign up, integrate with your website, where you capture the customer details and you can interact with him later on. So for example, you can add here tags, you can add him to lists, you can do some automations. So once they register and enter their details, you can just send them an email. There you can see the activities. So it's a very powerful tool to keep track of your leads and interact with them. Another tool is Mailjet. Mailjet is one of the, this one?
Yes.
One of the powerful tools where you can send emails, create a campaign and send emails to your contact. So you create a contact list, you design your email, and you can send it to your customers. So this is one of the mailing lists options that you have. You can have automations, you can send transactional. So this is for integrating with your website. You can create manually some templates and link them to campaigns and send it to them. Another powerful tool is MailChimp as well, but I'll not go through it. MailChimp is one of the most well-known tools. It's expensive compared to the others, unfortunately, but it provides a lot of solutions, built-in solutions. And I know that because they are acquiring some services and third-party or other services, that's why their pricing is very high, because they are one of the leading mailing list services. So MailChimp, these are so they have app integrations, which is you can integrate as services within the mailing list. You can have, yesterday someone asked about security. So they always mention built-in security. Yeah. So this is what we used, and it's a very powerful tool. Yeah. I think you enjoyed using it. Yeah. It was very easy, because most of the time for the marketing team, they don't want to ask the developers every time to design for them the emails. Yeah. You want to do it yourself. Yeah. So they provide for you some tools to design your email.
Exactly. So MailChimp and MailJet in general, they kind of give you a drag and drop feature for you to design your email if you want text here, image there, and then any buttons that you want to add that lead to somewhere else. So they're very strong email marketing tools.
So Sabreen mentioned that we prefer Google Analytics. It's because it shows you everything about the customer, about the visitors. So you can see here the audience, active users, what they explored, from where they accessed the website, their behavior. So you can see new and returning people. So if it shows the unique visitors, number of visitors, technology. So
Yes.
if someone accessed so if you notice, a lot of people are accessing your website through Safari or Edge, la samah Allah, you can optimize your website for that browser. You can check the network as well. So not said because didn't detect it. You can see the devices. So a very important thing is focusing on focusing on mobile and mobile friendly websites, because Google cares about it. Your SEO improves, and people access your website through their mobile devices. So you need to care about and take care of
how it looks on
mobile.
I think that's one of the biggest things. Everyone's on their mobiles, and it's more likely that your website is being viewed on a mobile device than on a desktop.
Exactly. So this shows the benchmarking for devices, geolocation, as we mentioned, the interest. This is one of the scariest things.
What are they actually looking at? And what do they mostly look at?
So 10% of people are interested in lifestyle. So this is very scary, but it's very useful for the business, from the business
and marketing point of view.
Yeah.
Because you do get to see age and gender as well. So not if you're selling baby clothes, for example, you would target parents specifically and anyone over the age of whatever, and gender specific as well.
So Google Analytics is a very powerful tool that we recommend. Always ship and deliver your product with Google Analytics.
Yes.
If you notice what Sabreen explained from the beginning of this presentation, the session, is it's not only about building your website and shipping it and publishing it. It's about maintaining the website, improving the website, plus how you convert the leads to customers, because this is what you care about.
It's also getting people to your website. Publishing a website, there are millions out there. So how do you actually get customers to notice your website? How do you build that awareness to get people on? But then once they're on, they have to do something or else you will lose them. There's no point of getting the most viewed website. That won't do anything for your business. So they need to actually conduct or create an action on your website to keep them coming back. That's why it's always about optimization, about maintaining, changing, driving customers, capturing them, and then bringing them back.
One of the things I think maybe we'll talk about tomorrow is A/B testing. So
yes,
if I test, so for example, if I have two landing pages, and I test if the customers are more attracted or more engaging with the second one, so then I choose the second one as my default.
Basically, that's when performance comes in. So you can conduct tests, create two different landing pages, and see where are your customers actually converting on landing page A or landing page B. That way, then you can make your most used or the landing page that created the most conversions as your main landing page.